Hey
Hey, hey,
y'all, what's good?
what's good with it, folks? What's good with it?
So,
Tell them what we got going today.
we have season two,
Mhm.
episode two.
Right?
So, and you're going to have me and Michael. The girls aren't here today. So, it's just me and Michael. We're going to have the co founder of Escobar Cigars, David Gomes, with us today, straight from Southern California.
Mhm.
And so, I hope you guys have your cigar. Okay, I've got the Escobar cigar. Get your cigar, get yourself a drink. We're going to give you a little bit of time to get settled in, and then you can come back on with us. Okay? All right.
Absolutely.
Take us out, Michael.
Hey, 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 hey.
Hey, 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 what's good, yo?
What's good? What's good?
My
Live
name
and
is
unfiltered.
Louie. Hey, what's your name?
Mike P, baby. Always right there. Mike P. Mike P. Let me
You know,
move it over.
we
There
always
you
forget
go.
to
There you
introduce
go.
ourselves, like everybody knows us or something.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Welcome back to What's Good Live and Unfiltered. This is season two, episode two, with an amazing guest today, and we have the privilege of sitting down and having a conversation with the co-founder of Escobar Cigars, David Gomes.
Mhm.
But before we bring him on,
Gomes, not Gomez.
not Gomez,
No, Gomes.
no, Gomes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So before we bring him on, though, Michael and I have some updates that we wanted to share with you.
Yeah.
Thank everyone who is subscribed to our YouTube page. Michael, our YouTube page.
Yes. Listen, for those of you guys that are following us, thank you so much thus far for following us. You subscribed, and we really appreciate it. What we need you to do is we need for you guys to go and give us some feedback on something you may want to see or something different you may want us to do. And if this is your first time, welcome. Go ahead and make sure that you subscribe and get your notifications. So anytime that we're doing any new content, any new videos, anything that's special that's new, you guys will be informed.
Yes. And so as you guys notice, it's just me and Michael on the show today. Our co-hosts, Casey and Arlene, we have we all had made a decision together. We know that how hard this production is. It does take a lot of work and time, and we respect everybody's life work balance. And so we'll miss them on one episode a month. And so they'll be back on the first episode of every month. And
Hmm.
so they'll be back on the 6th of February.
Hmm.
We all got to juggle life and work. And Michael and I know, I mean, we have so many projects going on at the same time. But since this is our show, this is our baby, we have committed to doing this. And so we will be taking over the second episode of the month. And then the girls are going to come back and do the first. So they're going to have a guest with Sean Williams, and they'll have a conversation with Mr. Gohiba himself on the 6th of February. So you guys got to tune in for that.
Absolutely, and know that I hope we might be able to see the girls, Louis. It feels kind of weird them not being here, but again, we do respect their time. Between their work and their life work balance and their family and just all the other things. Because this
Yes.
show was actually designed to do once a week, and then a while back when we made other changes as far as talent, we made a decision to do it every other week. And then when it was brought to our attention that they needed a little bit more time, and I would get that. So we're going to continue to do a couple of shows a month. But in addition to that, we're going to also do some impromptu things and actually do some on location things as
Yeah.
we move forward.
which will be exclusive to YouTube. So you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel because we'll do exclusive YouTube content as well. And Michael and I will be on the road visiting some cigar lounges, talking to a whole bunch of different people just randomly that we'll be placing on our YouTube. But also, um, with our second episode, since we do 2 episodes a month, Michael and I are going to be hosting the second episode of the month, and we are going to be reaching out to some people, both male and female. So some of you BOTLs out there and the SOTLs out there, to help us, since you guys probably get tired of looking at our faces, co-host and help us and bring some of your vibe onto the show as well. So that'll be fun. So we'll be reaching out to some people randomly. So be on the lookout for that. So, what's going on next week? TPE, right?
TPE, definitely TPE.
Yes.
So we were supposed to go to TPE, but we were going to either do something possibly with Drew Estate. They are going to be going, but at the point that we contacted them, they didn't kind of know what was going on themselves at that point.
Yeah, because of COVID.
We did have a chance to speak with them. They did let us know they're going to be leaving. I think on Tuesday, either tomorrow or Tuesday, they're going to be leaving to go out there.
Yeah.
And so, since it was kind of last minute for us, and we had some other things that kind of jumped up, we're going to go ahead and just stick and stay here in Miami. And, and we're actually working on.
Oh, speaking of Drew Estate,
yeah,
and Jonathan Drew, we have, Brooklyn will be coming up in June of this year. Michael and I have found a few venues that we want to work with. And so we'll start releasing that here real soon. So if you are not on the list for that exclusive invitation to purchase tickets for this exclusive event that Jonathan will have in Brooklyn, it will be limited to 200 people. So y'all get with me, get with Michael, get on that list so that it's going to be first come, first to buy tickets. Okay. So on that note, what do you want to do?
Well, I want to introduce a young man, and we're not going to tell you about him. We're going to let him tell you about himself.
Yes.
But what I want to do is this, though. The first thing I want to do is this. If you don't know, now you know.
Oh, that's a bad picture, babe.
If you don't know, now you know. Now you know. So Escobar Cigars. I'd like to go ahead and introduce co-founder.
Yes.
Of the cigar. And then, guys. So those of you that are watching, make sure you have your pen and your pad. We are going to be asking some questions, and these questions, I want you guys to think of some questions you can ask him that you can't Google, and ask him. Let's make sure we're respectful. I understand that it's live and unfiltered, so anything can happen. This is grown folks, so don't be bashful. But with that said, no further ado, I'd like to bring on Mr. Gomes, and it's Gomes, not Gomez.
It's Mr. Gomes.
Mr. Gomes, welcome, sir. How you doing?
Hey, appreciate you guys having me today. Thank you
for the
time.
Good.
Thank you for coming on to our show with your busy schedule. We already know how difficult it is, to catch.
He was traveling, and he had to pull over and stop so he can talk to us.
I know, right?
We appreciate that, sir. We appreciate.
I'd like to tell you, I'm driving on my way to TPE, but I can't really say that yet.
Oh, no.
Hey, man, you know what? We wanted to be there with you so we can sit down and kind of go over some things. We had a chance to talk with you about some possibilities for 22 and 23 and try to button it down. But we're going to get it done. And so, I know you're on the West Coast and your partner's here on the East Coast, correct?
Correct. We're kind of all over the place, but we have our distribution warehouse in Delray Beach, Florida. And a lot of the marketing here is done in Southern California, obviously with our partnership with Nas. It's closer proximity to him and some of their marketing resources. They've got an incredible marketing team. I mean, just incredible.
I bet. And we're going to get into that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But my first question is, who is David Gomes?
Put me on the spot.
Wait! Time out!
What?
Time out! I gotta get my.
Michael, you were supposed to do that in our 30-second thing.
Okay, well, you guys go ahead because I'm about to get this going. I've been waiting for this, David.
So please tell us and all our viewers, who are you? What are you about? I mean, that's what this is. This is the man behind the brand. So
One of the men behind the
One
brand.
of the men behind the brand.
But I am the guy that loves cigars the most within our team, for sure. And I think this is where, remember when we were kids, our parents would say, hey, do something you love and you'll succeed. And you're like, yeah, mom and dad. But it's just damn true. You know, if you love what you do, and I love cigars. I mean, I stopped. I'm not a big drinker anymore. I mean, wine, I'm a Napa brat. I grew up near Napa, you know, and I love wine. And I tell people all the time, can't really drink wine anymore. The sugar really gets to me, but wine tasting is very similar to cigars. The swish and spit, the blends, and Opus One makes a great wine, right? It's
Yeah.
not one grape that makes Opus One. It's the blend. It's the vintner's blend. Very similar to a cigar. It's a cigar craftsman's blend that makes a great cigar, or a cigar with poor draw or poor taste, or it does a lot of bad things sometimes if it's
Right.
poorly constructed. Yeah.
Right. And you grew up in the Bay Area, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I did. I grew up in the Bay Area. I came down and played ball at UCLA and just never went home.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Wow. And so you played ball, you went to UCLA to play American football or
Well, I mean, that's actually an interesting story. I never really get that deep into it, but I was actually, my first year at college was Santa Clara University. I was an American football scholarship athlete. Played football there for a year. The guy that replaced me when I left was a guy named Brent Jones. Ended up being an all-pro tight end for the 49ers. But I just wanted to play soccer, so I went down to UCLA because I wanted to play on their soccer team. They were national champions, and that was my passion, really. And there were two Olympic goalkeepers in front of me, and I could take them. I couldn't. so I just went back to playing American football.
Oh, wow. So, David, let me ask you. So you were playing goalie.
I was.
You're a big guy, so you take up a lot of square footage. How tall are you?
I'm about 6'6". I played football about 275. I played soccer at 202.
So your wingspan is like huge. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. And what position did you play in football?
What's that?
What position did you play football?
Tight end.
Oh wow.
And
Oh wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I was like 6'5", 6'6", 260 tight end, / tackle.
And did you play that at UCLA?
That's what I played at UCLA.
You played at UCLA. Wow. Well, coming from the Bay Area, I heard that you also, before you came into the cigar industry, we're going to talk a little business now. What you were always you were accustomed to doing product launches, but product in a different industry, correct?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's actually an interesting segue. Out of grad school, actually, because I went to grad school after UCLA. But after grad school, I took a job just selling medical equipment, and I worked my way up. And next, I was running a marketing team for $1 billion medical device company, which was a lot of product development, a lot of product release. And I'd like to say I'm pretty experienced in product releases, and that's why I told the team when we launched Escobar, I've never launched something that had unanimous, wow feedback. Usually there's always somebody, well, I got a little feedback for you. Here's a little constructive criticism. And you want that typically, but I just couldn't get it. I can't get it out of people. It's one of those launches, the product came out so beautifully that nobody's complaining. Everybody loves it. That's unusual in my experience.
Wow. Yeah, because people have opinions in the cigar world.
So I mean, and David, like you said, you had a love. I mean, obviously you're a connoisseur. You've made, meccas, to Cuba on various different times. But I think, at the end of the day, what was that tipping point to make you feel that anything that you can do as the industry is concerned, and being new, and don't get me wrong. People probably know you just as much as they know Nas, but know him just maybe a little bit more.
Oh no, they know him a lot more.
But, I was being facetious, But with that said, I mean, what made you decide that this is the industry you wanted to be in, and to start a brand? I mean, I was watching something earlier today, and I was watching something and I was listening to Sean Williams, and he had made reference to, if you're not like a real well-known brand, I mean, it takes a lot of backing to really, really, really get it out there. So, I mean, when you talk about you and your partners and you starting this, you guys started, and then, you guys were fortunate and blessed to be able to have, Nasur come on as a partner and an owner. I mean, dude, that's huge. With that said, I wanted to know, who initially approached Nas and I don't want to say pitch, but explain to him about what you had going on and how he could be a part of that.
Celebrity brand ambassadors are certainly a model that works for sure. I think it's a proven model. I didn't realize what the level of connection, and just to be upfront, I'm musically backwards. I mean, I'm talking backwards. I mean, I listen to stuff I listened to when I was in high school still. It's just the way my mind works. And I'm a musical imbecile, I'll tell you right now. But we've got guys in our team that are not. A lot of them are big Nas fans, of course. And one of the agents here, music agents in Los Angeles, a part of our team, brought it up one day. His name is Rob. He brought it up one day. He goes, just thinking off the top of my head, Escobar Cigars. We had already named Escobar. We didn't name it after Nas, in other words.
Right.
And he comes to us and he goes, you might just have a really good natural marketing fit. It's Escobar Cigars. Nas is AKA Escobar. He sings about it in his songs. Matter of fact, he actually sings about Escobar Cigars now, which is really cool.
Yeah,
it says Escobar, so it was a natural marketing fit, just from a synergistic feeling of marketing for sure. And then we dug into it more, and we realized, wow, this really is the fit. And the music world is a perfect entree in our direct-to-consumer model.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it's funny that you should mention that, because I was going to ask you, well, two things. First of all, why Escobar Cigars? Why Escobar? What? Why Escobar?
The name.
Traditional Cuban name. I just quite frankly, marketing is important. If I called it Gomes Cigars, it probably wouldn't do a lot. We believe in the traditional aspects of Cuban cigar making. And if you want to hear it later, I'll tell you the exact moment I fell in love with cigars, because I know the time, place, and moment.
We'll get to that, definitely.
Absolutely.
But in any case, if you look at even our box now, it's like beautiful black, call it edgy outside, right? But inside, traditional Cuban. From the roll to the process to the cedar to the onion paper, everything's traditionally Cuban inside. And that's the way we wanted it. Edgy outside, Cuban inside. And I'll give Nas's marketing team a lot of credit. They wanted us to rebrand. When they came aboard, and by the way, they didn't come aboard until Nas took some cigars home, spent a weekend smoking them. Not even a weekend. He smoked one, called us right up and goes, we're in.
Wow.
And it was based on the quality of the cigar, according to him. So in his mind, he'll put his name behind something of that quality. We're good to go. So that's kind of
his favorite Vitola.
What's that?
What was his favorite Vitola?
Double Toro Gordo for sure.
Bing, 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 bing.
That's the one you smoking.
Bing, 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 bing. So it's a good
actually one of my favorites. That's actually one of my favorites too.
Oh, really? Double bing, double bing, double bing. So it's funny you should mention that Nas had made mention of Escobar Cigars, because I had heard a clip and I had listened to it. And I'm like, I don't rap, but I mean, he said, it's in my blood to drive these cars and live this large. Escobar Cigars, avoid the prison bars. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
That was the last track on that album, right?
Yeah, that was big.
That's
I
huge.
was like, man, yeah. I love that verse. I love that verse.
It makes such a difference when you have that. When you were before we even came on the show, you were talking about your initial brand, before you repackaged and you rebranded.
Yeah, this logo here, if you could see it.
It's like, and you said it's about 3 years old.
About three to four, yeah.
3 to 4. We completely understand where you're coming from when it comes to packaging. You know, with our tequila, when we first came out with it, it was in a wine bottle, and it was like it looked like a well tequila, but the tequila inside was luxury. And so it was a lot of lessons learned when we did that product launch. And we're like, you know, we were getting great ratings for the tequila itself, but the product packaging was terrible. So we ended up having to put a lot behind it, and we created into this luxury looking bottle. And that made a huge difference for us because we were able to get it into luxury, you know, restaurants, hotels, and stuff like that. Now, for you, with that, when you initially came out with it, what were the challenges that you dealt with?
Well, I think anytime you go into a new market, and my Spanish is a lot better than it was, but it's I'm conversational now, taking courses now to get fluent. That's a big gap. Although our head of logistics is the Mexican national, so we've got instant translation, so we don't suffer. But there are nuances that you miss. But I spend a lot of time in SLE. We
Yes.
have our manufacturing plant there. I mean, we spend a lot of time out in the field. We spend a lot of time there. So that's part of it.
Now, were you a major part of the blending process, and you working with a master blender in Esteli? That
Um, I am not going to be as so arrogant as to say I input into the blend. That would be, I think, irresponsible of me. I test every blend. Now we're coming out next year with our Ultra Blacks, which is our premium aged version of this.
nice.
And that we're going to be testing blends here shortly. Even people like you would like to get your feedback when the time comes as well.
Yeah.
But we'll probably send some of these blends just labeled ABC out to see if you guys like any of them. But that's the kind of thing where I get involved, and I'm confident in our construction process, and the tobacco blends. I'm massively comfortable with. So continuing the supply pipeline, that's part of what we work on. New blends, I will taste new blends. I personally jump in on the QA side of things, the quality assurance aspect of it. So every time we get new inventory, a lot, I sample all the inventory, which is really funny because I did my first tour of the Partagas factory decades ago in Havana. I remember walking through there, and I saw one guy had a job of smoking cigars in the QA room. And I go, that's my dream job. And all
Right?
of a sudden I look back and go, wait a minute, I might just have my dream job right now.
You manifested it. What can
Yeah,
you
you did.
say?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. So, in addition to that, though, you guys are also doing something else.
Yes. We are going to be launching the Escobar blunt wraps this year.
Yes.
Very hard product to get, believe it or not. Good, real Nicaraguan tobacco, like a pack of zigzags, but real Nicaraguan tobacco. And that's a gap in the market right now. And Nas he's probably more excited about that than anything else, believe it or not. He loves that idea of that
Go
product.
figure. So, well, let me ask you this, though. I mean, based on everything that you shared with us, you know, how do you feel Escobar Cigars will impact the industry different than the rest of the playing field?
Oh, interesting question. I know our model's different. The people that we know, and I hate to say it like that because I hate to say it's who you know, but we have pulled in our contacts, developed new contacts. For example, for the last 4 years we rolled cigars for Tiger Woods' party at the PGA tournament in Bahamas at
Mhm.
the Hero World Challenge. And from that comes, there's companies down in Mexico, some of the largest distribution companies in Mexico, latched onto us because of our exposure there, came to us. So we've been working with them the last year, trying to nail down distribution for all of Mexico. Oh, who, by the way, legalizes cannabis next year.
What? Okay.
Wait, back up. Say that last part again.
The people we're dealing with, for example, in Mexico, one of the group, call it consortium that we're dealing with, one of them is one of 4 companies all of Mexico allowed to import tobacco. You know, there's only one of 4 entities allowed to import tobacco, and they're one of them, for example.
Mm-hmm.
One of them sits on the Mexican Senate Advisory Board for cannabis, so that's how we know this is going to be legalized soon.
Wow.
So, are you going to be testing those products as well?
I got people that know a lot more than me on that.
Oh God, that's funny, man. That is wonderful, man. That is wonderful. And I mean, and all of this kind of like from the very beginning of you just having that vision of starting, you know, this line, and everything's just manifesting, like Louis said earlier. That's beautiful, man.
Did we tell you the story about where the cigar got, what the moment it was, we had Escobar Cigars? We love to tell this story because it's just really unique. We, my business partner Mike and I, his family bailed on him for 4th of July weekend, you know, 4 years ago, and he calls me up and goes, "Hey, looking for those next beach property, right?" So yeah, let's go. So we went to Nicaragua looking for beach properties, you know. And I told him, I go, well, I'm not doing a week on the beach without going to cigar area first and grab some cigars.
Yeah.
So we went into this little town I'd never heard of called Esteli. And he's parking the car. I jump out, and he loses me for hours. He can't find me. He's like, did he just get abducted? Like, where did he go? Hours later, he finds me in the back of this cigar factory. Bottles of rum everywhere, cigars everywhere. He walks in, I go, "Hey, Mike, we got a new company." He goes, "Cool."
Oh my goodness.
So in Nicaragua, you guys, you get your tobacco from 3 different regions, right? There. What were
the 3 main cigar regions in Nicaragua, yes, but we also use Mexican San Andreas wrapper, which is, you know, the Senor Torrent down in Mexico. He makes wonderful wrapper, San Andreas, and then we use some Connecticut. There's different aspects of the blend, yeah. But even the Nicaraguan stuff is Cuban seed Nicaraguan tobacco.
So that black that you guys are coming out with, are you able to share with us what that blend's going to look like?
We'll stand by the results when the time comes. I mean, it's still being determined. Not that I wouldn't, but we don't know yet. Like I said, we're gonna get some blind allotments here very soon, probably the next 2 months, and we're gonna have a very formal process. Even like you guys, we'll send you a couple, say, you know, 1, 2, 3, which one do you like?
Right.
Nice.
Those kind of things.
No, that's wonderful. So you said that you had stated, for those that are just maybe coming on, we have Mr. Gomes with us, who is a co-founder with his partner. Now, is there another co-founder other than Mike?
Mike McNaughton is my business partner, and Nas is also equal equity partner. So there's 3 main partners in the company.
Okay. So you said you were headed to TPE, and currently right now your business is more operated on a B2B kind of aspect. So in TPE, what are you looking to try to accomplish while you're out there?
Well, I mean, put it this way. So like we talked about, that we launched with Nas. We did the big kickoff with Nas, call it kickoff more than anything else. And our direct to consumer model starts blowing up. What happens next? We go to TPE, you go to General Cigar, or, you know, Cigars International, and like, oh yeah, we've been getting a lot of requests for your stuff. Let's talk. So there's your B2B model that develops from the direct to consumer model.
Oh, that's smart. That's smart. And so right now you guys you have distribution in what regions, what areas?
Pretty much, you know, we cover most of the country right now. We've got different shops in different states everywhere. And like I said, we're now developing, pretty much about to kick off with several international entities in the next couple of weeks. You know, everywhere from Geneva to Germany, France, England, and Russia even. I mentioned earlier, then you get some odd areas that you don't think would amount to that big of dollars, but, you know, Ivory Coast, apparently there's a ton of resorts. I've never been, so I don't know. Right. I didn't know they have some cigar shops there that would put anything we have here in the States to shame. Wow. They're beautiful. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, because we have a guest, Ronnie, and Ronnie was saying to go to a Great Lakes Smoke Show if you guys can.
Yeah.
They would love to be able to be involved with that. I mean, and I don't know how many events that you guys plan on doing for 22. But based on what I'm receiving right now, and I'm sure, because like I said, Louis and I, we went through that 5-pack. I think we were at Hard Rock. When weren't we
Yeah,
at Hard
it was a Hard Rock
Rock?
here in Miami.
Yeah.
We smoked a couple while we were there.
We were going through them.
Yeah, we were like, oh man.
So we had to wait and hold these till now.
Yeah. Ronnie writes, try Vietnam.
You know what? Asia is a very big market. I don't discount that at all. I mean, we've had some people approach us in Malaysia, for example, that actually have entree to the Chinese market. And they're talking, well, we would need about 400 boxes just to sample the market, so we'll start with a 400 box order just to see the market. The numbers get big out there.
Wow. Well, I know like Thailand has luxurious cigar lounges. I mean, you don't see those type of lounges out here. Like you said, outside of the United States, the cigar culture is mostly Cuban, mostly Cuban cigars. So, but now, especially in Europe, a lot of the Nicaraguan blends and also the Dominican are starting to reach Europe and some of Asia.
Yeah, I mean, look at Davidoff, Geneva. Davidoff is Nicaraguan.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, Nicaraguan imports for tobacco have overtaken Cuba and Dominican Republic as of 17.
Yeah.
There
was it on his website, on the website, Michael, when they were talking about Ecuadorian tobacco in Nicaragua? It was the difference between the two.
Yeah, well, because basically what it was stating is that they were talking about the different Habanos.
They
were talking about the different the wrapper in regards to that in Ecuador and the differences of the two, because they have the Habano and then Habano 2000, and so that's basically kind of what referencing to. But you had already answered a question, because I was going to ask you, because I guess Nazit made a comment in something that was written about trying to get the product out there a little bit more and getting more exposure, so on and so forth. So I wanted to see if you can elaborate on that. But we had a gentleman that Kim, and Kim's over he's out of Tampa.
Out of Tampa.
And he said he needed to purchase some of those sticks for his mobile lounge out there. So, Ken, if I'm able to get some information from David on who you might be able to go through to make that happen, then I'll touch base with you. And Louis and I don't mind being a conduit. We're used to doing that, and I mean, that's what this is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if it makes it any easier for you, Mike, I mean, you could anybody has a question on that, they like setting up their shop, for example, support at escobarcigars.com, and they'll take care of that right away.
Oh, very good.
Hey, Kim, did you hear that? Support at escobarcigars.com. Go ahead and send a message there, and they'll be able to follow up with you.
No, that'll be nice.
So, babe, you had another question that you were going to ask David. I know you had a bunch of different questions you wanted to ask him.
Well, I think through conversation, we've started answering a lot of these questions. Now, one of the questions that I had was, what is Escobar Cigars' primary market?
Primary market, meaning our direct to consumer versus business to business. I mean, listen, we're trying to capture a new customer base, a new generation, a new culture of smoking. We're trying to capture people that make cigars a celebratory event, a celebration, a talking point, bringing people together. We're kind of seeing this a little bit more social movement as well, if that makes any sense. Not to sound trite, but I want this to be more of a social. I want anything that could bring people together. I've always told people cigars are the only thing that's made me ever sit down for an hour and do nothing, ever.
I mean, we could walk into a cigar lounge, and that's what I fell in love with, is I can go in and talk to a complete stranger, and we could come from two different worlds, and, we'd find something in common through the cigar. And then you make a friend, and it's a lasting friendship that I've had for years now with many people. Michael and I, the basis of what we do with our events is completely experiential. that experiential experience is that marketing, experiential marketing is such a huge thing, especially in this type of industry because it's such a personal product. Just like tequila, like Patron had that Patron Social Club. We're doing something with Drew Estate and Jonathan Drew in New York because that's where he's from. And it's an exclusive event for 200 people. And it's about that experience, something that they can always remember and walk away with. And I know that's something that you're really interested in, like you're going to be participating in Super Bowl. You do Tiger Woods golf tournaments. Those are all experience-based events.
I mean, we were gonna before they canceled the cigars, we were all scheduled for Rock Nation. Before the Grammys got postponed, we were scheduled for the Grammys. So yeah, I mean, we want this to be the social lubricant for people.
He said social lubricant. Oh my goodness, I like that one.
That's the best thing to do. I wish more cigar brands would go towards that with respect to that social. I mean, they do, but they don't in a sense. They do a lot of like lounge events where you work with a cigar lounge that your product is in and you're just focused on that. We're looking at a much larger market.
Mm.
I'm looking at more human dignity as well. I'm talking, for example, one of the things we do is we have peeled off revenues to support the local Nicaraguan orphanages. So, when I first found out, for example, from the local priest in the SLE, is, these kids don't have any play balls, coloring books, hair ribbon, like nothing. They had none of that. So when we go there, we bring boxes of stuff, things that the kids can use. Like we want this to be a little bit, like I said, more of a social movement.
Yeah.
Help the guy next to you. If somebody needs a hand, give him a hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Somebody wants a cigar, here, take mine. Here you go. Here's a cigar.
That's the way it is. That's what the cigar world is about, though.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what's next for you after TPE? What's next for you on your calendar? What do you guys have planned for right now?
TPE goes basically right into Super Bowl, and that's going to be in my backyard here either way. So we'll be there. So that'll probably be the next event. And after that, we're going to start focusing on the blunt wraps and ultra blacks, which is going to be some, travel time.
So do you guys foresee, because I know we talked about it previously, and we're going to probably talk about a little bit more on how we might be able to do something with you guys specifically as far as events is concerned. But do you guys have calendar right now where you're looking at possibly doing like Rocky Mountain or Big Smoke or, anything like that?
Not really. It's actually an interesting question, though, because you could spend a lot of time and resources. Do you know how many? Do you know? You know how many events of those there are? I mean, they're literally. You could probably support an event every week throughout the entire year in different parts of the country. So we got to kind of pick our spots or work through our partners. For example, if you guys are going to be an event, we could work with you guys on an event, but solely supporting these events on our own is probably going to be an unlikely strategy this first year, this next year, I should say.
Well, typically and I'm glad you said that because, and I don't know if you're aware of this or not, David, but we reference Jonathan a lot because he actually is our mentor. When we started working with him in 2013, and we started doing our events, the experiential events on an annual basis, one of the questions that we asked him is, would he entertain, the possibility of us, work with some other locals? Because when we were in LA, I think it was like 3 or 4 different smaller manufacturers that we knew that had interest in being involved. And in Jonathan's thing, he's always like, let's do it together.
Yep.
And so that's one of the reasons why I asked you also what you guys were doing in June, because, we're going to be out there in June. We're going to be in Brooklyn. And even if it was together or not together, it'd be a wonderful thing to be able to, since there's going to be bodies out there already, to possibly do something with you guys either jointly or separate, while we're out there. And so, we just need to coordinate things with you in regards to what your look and feel is. I kind of got an idea of what you're looking for, but obviously it has to be something that you and your partners, Mike and Nas, are on board with. And And typically I say that because, we do get support from the businesses that we partner with, but we also contribute. When we produce our own events, we spearhead it. So
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Well, I think there's lots of ways we could do this, Mike. We can go offline on that next week and talk about how best to support it. I'm kind of noodling some ideas in my head, so maybe we could just kind of have an idea session next week.
yeah,
yeah,
that
I mean, you got that. You got that
I'm
market
excited
behind
about
you
that.
in different industries, and I mean, I'm interested to listen to some of your thoughts and your views with that because I'm sure that you have I don't want to say methods, but some methods and procedures that you use for different markets that might not even be used in this industry. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So
Well, yeah, that's always a danger and an advantage, depending how you do it. If I come in and say, "Well, this is the way we did it, medical devices 100 years ago," and expecting that to be the market today, I mean, I may bring some very good idea. I think a lot of what I learned in product development has absolutely helped here.
Mhm.
But everything I learned in marketing in my younger part of my career is I hate to say it, most of it's inapplicable at this point. It's a different world, different market. What works today is not what worked 20 years ago, 10 years ago at all.
Right.
I like hearing that because a lot of times in this industry, and that's the thing that based on us interviewing a bunch of different people, off camera, would have you. A lot of the companies are trying to look for, and I wanted to ask you this. A lot of companies are trying to look for that secret sauce to get that new infusion of cigar connoisseurs into the market. And so I'm kind of interested in regards to what's your thoughts in regards to something that, and you don't have to give us the whole skinny, but what's maybe just one thing. What's your thoughts in regards to tackling that and introducing your product to a new realm of individuals that can be a new infusion of blood of cigar connoisseurs?
I think that's happening now. I think we're doing exactly that. I'd love to tell you it was 100% on purpose, but it's not. When we developed the partnership with Nas, I think it Nas is a unique musician. He appeals to men my age, or maybe a little bit less, because I didn't. It's not music I would listen to in high school.
Mhm.
But he appeals to people my age, men, women, kids, young people. They love him too, and that's really rare,
Yeah.
really rare.
I think we're
And
the same
I
age.
what's that?
I think we're the same. Well, I'm not. No, I might have you. I might have.
I'm 57.
I got you.
Mm,
I got you.
you got him. You
I'm
got
Big Papa.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Ah,
there's a
But no,
huge.
but it is true. So I mean, but you make a really good point. There is a new wave of smokers. It's the oh look at the national championship. Did you see that they were smoking Escobar cigars in the Georgia
I
sideline?
did. And congrats on that.
Well, we didn't do anything. We didn't do it.
Yeah, how did they
What?
happen to get that? How did they get that cigar?
I don't. We're still. Somebody told me like Quavo was on the sideline handing out cigars. I don't know if that's true. I don't know, but it came organically, which is actually more of a compliment than anything.
Absolutely. Well,
You know
But
what?
we heard that DJ Khaled is a big fan too.
right, and he's a guy that just loves our cigars.
Yeah.
We don't have any partnership with him, but he's been phenomenal, fantastic.
I
Wow.
got to tell you,
But what they're bringing young new smokers, and I hate to say that as in because now they're selling like strawberry flavored vapes to kids, and I don't
Yes.
necessarily agree with that, but I think a college age kid, and you decide, hey, I'm not going to smoke a cigarette, but I'm going to enjoy a good cigar as a celebratory event. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think we're destroying our youth that way. I think it's an overreaction.
hey
So we're
man,
getting a bunch of new generations, new demographics.
Hmm.
I mean, my God, the different groups you see on the cigars. I mean,
Yeah.
females, female African Americans, young students, Hispanic Americans. I mean,
Yes.
you got all these different groups of smokers, and they're into it, and it's really cool to watch.
yeah.
There's a huge influx of young professionals that find that cigars are a great way to break the ice to close a deal. A lot of them are out there. There's some here in Miami that Michael and I actually saw at a cigar lounge, and we're like, man, they're probably in their late 20s. You
Mm-hmm.
know, they were in a business meeting and they were closing a deal smoking a cigar. You know, so and like you said, there's a bunch of women from all walks of life. There's a bunch of women that are coming
Yes.
in.
I guess that's my biggest shock. I got to be honest with you, because I was probably just ignorantly assuming, like, well, women aren't going to smoke cigars. It's such an ignorant thing.
Absolutely.
It's such an ignorant thing for me to think. But in my mind, I never thought about it. Basically,
You're not alone in that. You're not
No.
alone in that. I
No.
remember I told you there was a cigar lounge in Southern California that I didn't feel comfortable in because they were not accustomed to having a woman smoke a cigar. And this was over 10 years ago. And,
where's that?
in Pasadena.
Pasadena.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's kind of a stodgy area, though. I get it.
Yeah, and they treated me as if I didn't know, anything about cigars. And so I never went back, and it left a lasting impression on me. But now, fast forward 10 years, you go into Cigar Lounge, there's a bunch of women in there, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely commonplace. It's not even looked at any differently than it should. I,
No,
I
no,
think it's wonderful. But again, how can you bring people together if you're excluding different areas? So if you're
exactly.
not excluding anybody, it's a big enough world for all of us here.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, it's funny, and I'm gonna say, man, somebody said that to me the other day. You can't teach integrity. It has to be something that's within you. And I got to say, man, that with the national game going on and those guys smoking your cigars and you saying you didn't have anything to do with it, most people would have been like, "Oh yeah, it was planned." And I did this, you know. So, dude, hats off to you, man, with respect to that one. But listen, before we keep going, just want to let you know we already hit like around the 45-minute mark. We
Yes.
want to make sure that because again, Mr. Gomes is traveling to Las Vegas for the TPE. So you guys go ahead and start getting your questions together that you want to ask him, and don't be
Yes.
afraid to ask him. The hard questions. Again, like I said, you won't be able to see on Google it. Go ahead and start putting in your questions, and Louis will bring them up with respect to that.
Ronnie made a really good point. Ronnie with the Great Lakes Smoke Show. Ronnie said, and they're smoking more boutique cigars, not their dad's cigars. So they want to have their own new brand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, there's a lot to go with that. A lot of the boutique brands, some of them are a lot better than the ones that have been traditional out there.
Yeah.
They can
Well,
be, but that's also could be a crapshoot too.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question for you though, David. Now I know that you were saying earlier that the double toro was kind of created behind a different cigar blend, another cigar blend, and I'm actually really enjoying this. And I have to go back into my little box because Lou and I have like all kinds of humidors here at the house, so I got to go back in and I got to actually smoke another one of that other one because I'm actually really enjoying this. Do you find it hard to come up with different blends that you want to represent, Escobar?
What do you mean? Are we coming up with different blends? I didn't quite catch the question.
Well, because there's so many blends right now that are out there as far as
True.
cigars are concerned. There are some cigars that people are really favorable for, and there are some that are out there that you kind of question, why they even launched it. But this one right here, this is my first time having this one, by the way. And
Oh, it is. That's the one I told you we mimicked. We wanted to mimic the Bahique.
okay, so that the Bahique is made out of this one here. Okay.
That's the one you're smoking. That's
So
the
you-
one that we wanted to imitate the Bahique with. That's
Well,
one of my
that's-
favorite cigars. And hey, if I'm gonna make them, I'm gonna make what I like. I'm sorry.
I'm with you on that. So I'm gonna go smoke that. I think I have a couple left in one of the humidors we have here, and I'm gonna do a comparison. But I'm really enjoying this. So do you have any others that are out there that you think that you want to kind of create that are similar?
I mean, we already offer 10 different Vitola. I mean, we offer 5 natural and 5 Maduro cigars right now. You add in blunt wraps and ultra blacks. I doubt we're going to be adding any new blends beyond that this year. I think one of the issues I have with the cigar market that I'd like to correct, you get a cigar maker comes out with another blend, another blend, another blend, another blend, another blend, and next thing you know, it overwhelms the consumer.
Yeah.
And even a knowledgeable consumer like me, I look at it and go, "Whoa, never mind."
Yeah.
Do what you do best. Do it really, really well. Do it consistently, the same way, over and over and over. And I think you got a winning recipe.
Well, let me ask you this. So do you guys have a dedicated master blender that creates these cigars for you?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Can we ask you who that person is?
Well, I mean, I don't want to get into names, but he is a fifth generation Cuban national. So he would have theoretically, his family would have come over in the '59 exodus from Cuba. And you've all heard those stories. People carrying tobacco plants with them, getting on the ferry, trying to get out of Cuba at the last minute, bringing their tobacco plants. That's exactly what happened during the Cuban Revolution.
So Jorge said hola from Punta Cana.
What's that?
From
Jorge said hola from Punta Cana.
Yeah.
You actually, you know what? And it might be somebody that you know. I didn't recognize it. I don't know if you know this gentleman or not, but his name is Bruno. Do you know a Bruno?
I don't.
He was coming from Portugal.
Ah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Never heard of a good Portuguese cigar, and I'm Portuguese, so no offense, but I've never heard of a good Portuguese cigar.
Really?
No, they smoke Cubans over there.
Yeah, well, because Spain is the ingress point for most of those Cubans. So.
Yeah.
Hola, Jorge. How you doing, man? And welcome, man. Thank you for joining us and joining, with Mr. Gomes, not Gomez, Mr. Gomes.
David, I don't know if you mentioned it earlier, but going back to your original blend, did you guys reblend for this rebrand and repackaging that you did?
No, we did not. No, we were massively satisfied with the cigar. We didn't want that touched, and that goes back to my original comment: Cuban on the inside, edgy on the outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a beautiful box. I mean, I don't know if I showed it earlier. If you can see that, it's very sexy.
Yeah, whoever came up with that, man, they nailed it. And I'm biased. The fraternity is black and gold, so I'm like.
Yeah.
I was like, hey,
you know what?
06.
That might be the best color combination ever, actually.
I love that
color combination. I had to deal with powder blue in college.
Oh.
Yeah. Well,
you're wearing a uniform that's sky blue, baby blue.
Yeah. At 6'6". Yeah.
Yeah, you stuck out. Well, it's so funny because we live downtown LA, and USC was right up the street. But when we would go to by UCLA, they had this real babe. You remember there was this grocery store, and there was a parking lot, and across the street from us this little cigar lounge. It was right there by the campus.
Mm-hmm.
I do. Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that one?
Yeah.
That's the one we would go to when we were there in that little area there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in fact, back on the Brooklyn thing, we should talk about that because we have set up a ton of shops on the East Coast, especially in Jersey. Like a lot in Brooklyn.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that. That's going to be in June, so we'll talk about that.
You got it.
But that was one of the questions that Michael had written for me.
What?
As far as like where in the United States, I mean, you kind of answered it. You have a huge presence on the East Coast.
Yeah, I mean, in the South, Southeast. Pretty much the Midwest is kind of big too. The Midwestern states have gone bonkers over this.
Wow, and that's where Ronnie's from. I think he's in Illinois.
A lot of shops in Illinois right now. A lot of shops.
Really? Oh, okay. We're gonna have to introduce you to Ronnie so that you can get on his show. They'd love to have you.
Yeah, we actually have a direct rep in the Midwestern states.
Oh, you do? And you said you had mentioned to Michael on one of your phone conversations that you guys have a presence here in Miami, or you have a following here in Miami.
I said that's where our distribution warehouse is, right outside of Miami, Delray Beach. So we have a physical presence as a company there, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because Miami is a really hard market to break when it comes to cigars. I mean, it's such a very closed market down here.
Yeah, but you know what? Again, going back to that direct consumer model, using the latest social media marketing mechanisms and methodologies out there puts us at a unique advantage. If we're driving that much FaceTime with people, that much volume, that much purchases because hey, they saw Nas on Instagram or Khaled or Snoop or somebody on Instagram and they go buy a cigar, what they're also doing is going to their local cigar shops saying, hey, where can you get these? Can you order these? So inevitably, from that demand we're creating on direct to consumer, these shops are going to call us and say, we need to get these in.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the best way. I mean, it's like consumers are really driving that.
Yeah,
Um,
as they should.
yeah, as
People
they
popped
should.
up. Ronnie, if you want to get in contact with David, go ahead and send an email to support@escobarcigars.com. He'll get the message. He'll get back with you. But also, there's a young lady that goes by Madam Butterfly. She says she can't find the cigar in Vegas. Is there anywhere specific that you might be able to have her go to?
Have her meet me at TPE.
Oh, shit.
There you go.
Madam Butterfly.
That's Glenda Lee, Michael. That's Glenda.
I know. So Glenda Lee. So you just got the invite to meet up with David, TPE if you're not busy. I mean, damn.
I will definitely give her a couple cigars at no cost if she meets me there,
Oh,
just to give her a couple cigars. But to answer the question realistically, part of what we're doing there, and I may stay later than Friday to do it. My cousin used to be big casino guy. He's passed away now, but he used to own the Dunes Hotel.
oh,
I actually worked. He made a miraculous decision to put me in charge of 113 cocktail waitresses when I was 22. Not a great decision, but it worked.
So what was your closing percentage?
No comment.
Come on, man, it's unfiltered, uncut.
I got in a lot of trouble.
Hey,
In any case, what we're doing there, and it's really important, the volume that they do, some of these big cigar shops right now, they knew my cousin, my friends of my cousin. I mean, we're going there to meet with some people at TPE, well, after TPE. So we should have several shops set up in Nevada here in the next month or so.
very nice. Very
That's
nice.
what's funny. You should mention that, man, because when Louie and I first started was it 2006 that we started doing some production stuff?
Yeah.
And I had a nephew, and one of the things with the nephew, we were letting them know, look, there's no fraternization with the individuals that work at the locations. So
Yeah.
why did he just ruin the first damn rule? And he had a young lady he was seeing here, he had a young lady he was seeing there, and I'm like, you know what, dude?
Yeah, he got caught up.
He got caught up.
He got caught up. But that was when I had actually met Nas in person back then. That was back in 2006.
Oh, wait a minute. Let me see.
And because our client back in the day was Chris Webber, and Chris was good friends with Nas. And we were actually consulting him on this bar and restaurant that he had up in Sacramento while he was playing for the Kings. And Nas slid in there quietly. Everybody found out about it. We almost got shut down because there were people trying to climb, the outdoor patio wall.
No, they were climbing.
Wow, really?
Yeah, Chris's venue was about 700 people. You could fit 700 people in that bar that he had, and we were surpassing that when Nas came through.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my God.
Let me find that.
But I was like 36 back then, and I was like, oh my God, to meet him.
Hey, oh wow. Wow.
Back when I wore my red hair.
I got to tell you something though. I got to tell you, I got to attend one of the photo shoots with Nas and spent some time lighting his cigars for the photo shoot all day. And I got to tell you, what a voice! When you hear the word, oh, the guy has a silky voice, it doesn't do it justice.
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, he's amazing. Oh, we have a question for you from one of our viewers. He was asking, do you do you make a cigar with a Cameroon wrapper?
We do not. No.
Excuse me for a second. I got to close this door because it's a little loud outside.
Is do you,
Yeah, I mean, I've seen those, but no, we don't use any Cameroon tobacco. No.
okay. So no Lamar, there's no Cameroon wrapped cigars. Um, and I love that wrapper. That's such a some of my favorite cigars are Cameroon.
I've actually had a few of those. They're very good. I really prefer. I love our San Andreas wrapper right now, and we're
Oh
actually
gosh.
working a deal with the manufacturer, the tobacco grower, to
Yes.
get an upgraded version of the San Andreas, more flavorful, a little bit more robust. So we're going to make some slight tweaks to that, but I think we're going to stay with the San Andreas wrapper.
Is that what this Maduro is? It's
Yes.
the San Andreas. It's
Yep.
delicious. I
Yeah.
love the sweetness that comes out of it. And San Andreas is one of my favorite wrappers. The Oscuro. I love all Maduro. Um, and I'm now starting to get into the Habanos. My
Well,
palate.
it's interesting. Time of day makes a difference. In other words, I love a Maduro more than I love natural. But at nighttime, you get a 56 gauge, that double Toro Gordo and Maduro at late at night. It's a little
Yeah,
heavy.
it is. And the Habano that you have, is it the Habano 2000 that you use?
No, that's an Ecuador. I'm sorry. It is a Nicaraguan wrapper, Ecuadorian seed, I believe.
Yeah, there's a that spiciness. It has a little spicy. Yeah, I like that. And where before I wasn't a big spicy, peppery cigar smoker, but as my palate changes, I'm starting to really get into that and get away from the Maduros.
There's nothing wrong with going back and forth as your taste
Mhm.
buds are different from one day to the next. So I never have a problem with that. Can I go back to one point? You're the one viewer who asked if where they get the cigars in Vegas.
Yeah.
I get asked a lot. We're not going to be able to cover every city in the country overnight. And what I tell people sometimes, you want a cigar, you're looking to go to the shop, you get down there Monday, you can order it today online. It'll be there by Tuesday anyway. So I mean,
Mhm.
you can wait for the shop, but if you really need them, just go online, order them. They'll be on your doorstep shortly thereafter.
And I think the and everybody, a lot of people buy online now, but I think the whole cigar experience is finding it at a cigar lounge and being able to smoke it right there with the other cigar people that are in there, and it's that whole experience.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited. We have a few people that we can introduce you to as well in Las Vegas, so we'll do that offline, with respect to retail.
Perfect.
Absolutely. 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 I mean, that was something, David, that Louis and I did. And I'm going to just go back to this real quick. When we were doing the tequila, Louis actually was COO. And I was responsible for events and placements and logistics and warehousing and all that other little stuff. And so we worked together as a team. And over the period of time before we relinquished the reins over to a new company that was in Orange County, we were able to get the product totally, collectively, just only in the state of California, to just under 1,900 locations. And
Yeah.
so one of the things that Louis did was, because we both endorsed, obviously, in the cigars, she did a lot of events where we could do a lot of pairings. And so with our tequila, and specifically that in añejo. So once we got out of that and we were doing more stuff with cigars, that's kind of like what made, it materialized for us to start doing productions and working with other companies. But the main thing we did is we did that exponential thing on an annual basis, you know, and then we started having other companies that wanted to work with us and us to be able to work with them. So with that said, we were able to develop a lot of relationships with different retails. And so there'd be a point in time where there'd be a cigar and somebody didn't have it in their region or area. So, we would be that conduit and pick the phone up and say, hey, who's your distributor out there? And I mean, and she was really, really good. And she made that happen a lot.
And again, it's all consumer driven, right? It's the
The demand is consumer driven. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, Ronnie here. Oh, Scully asks, "Are you guys in Arkansas?"
I actually believe, again, send me a quick email, support at Escobar Cigars. I will give whoever emails that, I'll take that up and give them the closest shop to their location.
Cool.
I think we might have one in Arkansas, but I know we have some in that area. I'll have to check though. I don't know offhand.
And so Ronnie had made a comment in regards to buying online. And Ronnie, I just wanted to say this. My understanding with David and with Mike and with Naz and the way that they're doing things, they are very supportive of the brick and mortars. What he was addressing in that question is, if there's not a brick and mortar, the best way for you to get it currently right now is to go online. So he was just giving you guys an opportunity to ascertain the product and get it at your doorstep. So it wasn't something to bypass that in brick and mortars, because they're definitely into brick and mortars. We're definitely into brick and mortars. He was just addressing that one particular question. So if any of you guys, like Scully, he's in Arkansas right now, and if the product is not there, then you can show support right now to go online. I mean, a lot of you guys go online anyway. You go to some of those other, I'm not going to even mention any names, but you guys go to some of those online opportunities to get cigars. So this is no different. You're just going with them direct. But let us know where you guys are located, where you will possibly want to get them. We'll get with David, find out the distributor out there, and try to make it happen for you.
Now, David.
No, that is a perfect clarification, and thank you for making that, because no, the intent is not to bypass the shops. We want to work hand in hand with the shops. If there happens to be a location in the middle of nowhere here where it's like we haven't set up a shop yet and you want the cigars tomorrow, that's an emergency backup. Or you can go to that shop, they can call me and we can get that ordered that same day as well for the shop, for the customers, to sell to the customers. So yes, we work with brick and mortars. Thank you for that clarification.
No problem. So Ronnie said I was just making a comment about. He says online.
That's all good, Ronnie. Now, I know that there's going to be people asking. So, are there going to be any future events where they can find Naz and Escobar Cigars and you?
You never know. His schedule is crazy. So I don't know the answer. Because of how much they have to interface with people when they don't have to during, COVID times, I think they're a little bit more cautious.
Yeah.
I don't think. I know that they're all being very cautious, and I understand that and I respect that. When we kind of come out of this, which will be soon, I believe, I think his schedule is going to start opening up, and you may see some things in the future here. So I don't know the answer to that today. I don't speak for his time at all.
Right.
And I mean, and I think he's still, I'm not sure he was, I know at one point in time, but I know he was an ambassador for Hennessy as well as NBA.
He is, yeah.
Things kind of progress, and I'm sure this calendar is going to get bombarded. But do you think that he'll probably be a little bit more present in California since he purchased in Calabasas recently?
Yeah, he just moved to Calabasas. You knew that, huh?
Yeah. Found out.
Well, you know what? I got to say this. When we had the pleasure of working for C-Web, we worked very close with the COO, which is a very good friend of C-Web and a very good friend of Naz. I'm in contact with him periodically. Actually, we were kind of going back and forth today. And so I alluded to him that, we were going to have this show. I also let him know that, we'd be, pleased and privileged to possibly have the opportunity to work with you guys in 22 and 23.
Yeah.
And so, he gave me a thumbs up on it. And that's a hard guy to please. And and that's like one of his closest friends. They did some shit for Halloween together. They dressed up and they do it. And I think, and he's from the Bronx. So, he's a New York guy as well,
Now, I have a question, Michael.
Yeah.
Now on your website, David, do you guys have an event page where you guys actually list events that people can look up and see where you guys are going to be at?
We don't. If we start talking about working with people like you, for example, that's something we can easily add and mirror the events that you guys are supporting. Or if we're supporting you for an event, for example, we can list that event. So yeah, that's something we can work on offline. I like that idea. We don't do it currently, no.
No, yeah, because I was thinking you're going to do the Super Bowl, and that would be awesome to have some consumers, go there. Because
they wouldn't be able to anyway. That's the problem.
That's a private one.
Oh yeah, this is a very, very big celebrity charity event. They've been doing.
Wow.
It's called the Jaws Ditka Party. and
Yeah,
they've been
Mike
doing this.
Dicker does it every year wherever he goes for the Super Bowl. He did it out here in Florida, and it's a private, high-ticketed, very celebrity-heavy oriented,
Wow.
thing. So it's a blessing, and it's very fortunate for any cigar company to be able to be involved with that.
Wow. That is.
Yeah, we're excited about that. That's gonna be fun. I like some of those old ball players, man. They're old school. It's kind of fun to watch.
So, well, with that said, I wanted to say, because we're already at 10 minutes after 5, I know that you got to run. We didn't want to take you too far over.
Yeah.
If any of you guys have any other questions, go ahead and let it hit the screen right now. And if not, then, we'll be saying ta-ta for now. And
Yeah.
you guys, the next show is when, Louis?
It's February 6th.
On the 6th, and we'll have Miss Arlene and Miss KC back, so you guys will be able to get ready for that. And
Yeah.
Mr. Gomes, I wanted to tell you, thank you, man, for showing up. I know that normally you have different lounges, this and that, but like I said, I knew you were en route to TPE, and I appreciate you just taking a moment. I know that drive. We used to do that drive all the time from LA to Vegas, and we look forward to talking with you some more and doing some things with you. And guys that are here, that are watching this now, that have been watching, thank you so much for joining us. We really, really appreciate it. And I want to say thank you to you people that are not watching right now, but you can do with that too.
But they end up watching later. That's what they
do. They do that,
Ronnie says, thanks for your time, David, and have a great TPE show.
Great. Hey, guys, I really appreciate you guys having me on tonight or today. This has been a lot of fun. I could talk cigars till I'm blue in the face. Never a bad time with me.
I know. We'll have you back on again.
I have one question. So Jorge has this question for you. I mean, I already know it, but you go ahead and take this one, David, on your way.
From where are your favorite filler leaves?
Favorite filler what?
Leaves. So your tobacco leaves.
Oh, our filler leaves right now they're all Nicaraguan.
Nicaraguan. That's his favorite. Yeah.
So that
I think it's the best tobacco right now, because I know the Cuban tobacco, the last few times I've been there, I've been a little bit more disappointed in the quality of the Cuban tobacco than I used to be. I think they've had some bad crop yields. Dominican's always been good, but I honestly think Nicaraguan tobacco is leading the way right now. It's a beautiful, beautiful tobacco. That soil I haven't found. That's the way Cuban soil used to be.
Absolutely. And now, how much time before you go? How much time do you actually spend in Esteli? Do you go there often?
It varies. I'll go several 2, 3, 4 times a year. It depends on the year.
Yeah. Michael and I still have yet to go. I'd love to visit one day.
It's not fancy. It's nothing fancy.
That's what they say.
It's funny you should say that. We did an event in Napa.
Yeah.
In October. And what the gentleman said to me, he says the sexiest thing about wine is drinking it. Mm-hmm. Because, the industry in and of itself, is a farm, it's dirt, it's sweat, it's blood, it's tears. There's a lot of stuff going on in the background that people are not aware of. And I think you can do the same thing for the tobacco.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like I said in the beginning, you for all those novice smokers out there, if you guys are into wine tasting, you could easily be into cigar tasting, because it's the same damn business, just a different product. It really, truly is.
It is.
So with that said, David and Louis going to close us out as well. We're going to log off here, but go ahead and just stay on for a moment because Madam Butterfly will follow your lead on how she can get in contact with you, because she lives out there in Vegas. Mm-hmm. And then we'll do that. Go ahead, Lloyd.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Thank you, David, so much for your time again. We'll have you back on the show and give us updates on what's going on with Escobar Cigars. And I look forward to meeting you in person one day.
I look forward to that too, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay.
Take care.
I'm all about long ashes, slow burns, and one love, baby. This is a wonderful segment, season 2, the second show with Escobar Cigars, featuring Mr. David Gomes.
That's
you
right.
guys have a wonderful time. You guys stay safe, and fuck it, I'm gonna say it. Go get vaccinated and shit. So that, go back to the norm.
All right.
Shit.
All right, you guys. Ciao for now from Miami. See y'all
Take
later.
care. Peace.
Peace.